Hey guys, thanks for coming back. It's Beck here from Today I Am Me. So for those who are new, welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. So I'm an empowerment coach and I run a business called Today I Am Me. Now, Today I Am Me is all about giving people the tools to change their life and become more confident in themselves, and to also make sure that you are leading with kindness and love with yourself and with everyone around you. So please click the like, share or subscribe button to stay up to date with all my videos. And if you do have anybody in your life that does need a bit of inspiration or some tools to really guide them through whatever they're going through in life, or maybe you just want to share this video with them, then please do that. So today we're going to talk about identity, and the reason why I chose to talk about identity is because this is something that I struggled with so long in the past, to the point where I didn't know anything that I liked. If somebody asked me, what's your favorite food, your favorite band, your favorite colors, I would be more interested in what their favorite food, band or color or whatever it is, because I actually had no idea what mine was. And look, this is so important to know your identity for many reasons, but primarily I find it so important because you need to know these things about yourself, right? Nobody else is going to look after you and to give you that self-love and nourishment that you need. That's all up to you. So knowing these things about yourselves gives you that power to make sure that you do have self-love and that you are taking care of yourself both, mentally and physically and emotionally. Now, being aware of your identity, like I said, is really, really important, and for many reasons, but it's so easy to get burnt out, and you may be a career person, you may be a full-time mum, full-time dad, whichever it may be in your life. It requires you to give a lot of your time, your effort and your energy to doing all those things that you're responsible for. But when does it come to a point where it needs to be about you? And that's something that we tend to forget. And then it gets to that point where you begin to feel bad for looking after yourself and taking time out for you. You feel selfish about it, and you feel like you're going to be judged, like, I think I'm going to take the kids to the grandparents or to daycare today, and I'm going to go and get a foot massage, get my nails done, or whatever it may be in your life, that you have to move stuff aside to focus on you. You do feel bad, but it's okay. It's perfectly normal to feel bad, and that's just because we spend so much time and effort in our life towards other things that it feels really unusual and weird to focus that time and effort on yourself. But the first thing to know is that it is okay to do these things for yourself. It's really, really okay. It's really healthy. And, if people are going to talk about, why is she sending her kids to daycare when she's obviously not working? Look, I'm not a mum, but I worked in the education system with children and family for 8 years. So, girl, you go and spend some time on yourself, because, like I said before, what people say and think, it's none of your business. So you are the primary person in your life. If you don't have yourself, if you don't look after yourself, and if you don't boss up and take responsibility for yourself, then you can't boss up and take responsibility for everything else in your life, because you are going to be run down to the ground. And I've been there so many times. But knowing your identity can also be something that goes right to the core as well. For me, knowing my identity wasn't just knowing about myself and knowing my likes and dislikes. It was also about knowing who I am, in a sense of how I fit into the world. So having goals, having dreams, and achieving those goals and dreams, and even if it seems like a really ridiculous goal or dream, you've got your whole life to wonder what would happen if you had taken that risk. And taking a risk may seem scary, but the scariest part is taking that step into doing something different. That's the only part that's really scary. And generally, when you do step outside your comfort zone, unless you're putting yourself into extreme danger, you don't generally die from stepping outside your comfort zone. So don't be afraid to take that risk. Another part of your identity is, like I said, knowing how you fit in the world, and that also means knowing how you fit into your family. So for me, I don't unfortunately know much about my family history. There was a bit of a family rift with my mum, and she was adopted by her aunt. And then there was my father, he's first generation Australian. His father, grew up in the working houses in London. So we don't know much about our family history. So stay tuned, because I have decided that I am going to do an ancestry DNA test, and I'm going to be announcing that live. So stay tuned for when that happens. I'll hopefully announce it in a couple of weeks when I get the results, but I'll book it in and I will make that live for you. So that'll be really exciting. So I've got a couple of tips that you can use in your life to really understand your identity and make sure that you are living a fulfilling life and that you do have that self-care, self-nourishment, self-love there. So my first tip for you is to make sure that you are taking that time to look after yourself. And that means if it feels like you're being a bit selfish, then be a bit selfish and go and do the things that you want to do. If you need some time out, then make that time to go and do the things that you want to do. Now, am I telling you to call in sickie to work? No, I'm not telling you to do that at all. I'm saying that when you do have that moment, that spare free time, book it into your diary that is your time. It's your time. So, and that could be anything, if you just want to sit in front of the TV and watch Netflix all day, cool, whatever. Just take that time to focus on yourself and your identity, because like I said, if you don't have your identity, then you don't have anything else, and you need to boss up for those things. Now, my second tip for you is routine. Now, you need to have a routine, and it might sound silly, but routine can be anything from, when you wake up in the morning. Could be anything. And I was a serial non-routiner back when I was a bit younger, even 12 months ago. The only routine that I had was when I wake up in the morning, and it was pretty basic, so I wouldn't even really call it routine. But now that I do have that routine for myself, I know that when I am feeling a little bit lost, or I call it not having my feet on the ground. When I feel like my feet are on the ground and I'm a bit confused, it's really good to have that routine in place, because it brings normality to it. So for me, I still have that morning routine, but I've made it a bit more fuller, I guess you could say. So I wake up at the same time every morning. And then I lay down in bed for about 5-10 minutes, and I just relax. I just get ready for the day. I make some posts on Today I'm Me, which is the women's support group. So if you haven't already signed up, then do that, because it's really informative. And then I get ready for work. I don't have breakfast because I actually do fasting, and I'm going to do another video for that later on. Go to work, and then I have my routine at work where before I do anything else at work, I do my follow-up calls. And then I reward myself with having a coffee. And then I generally don't eat much during the day. I tend to fast during the day, but again, I'll get back to that in my next video. And then when I get home, straight upstairs, get in my PJs. That's the first thing I do when I get home, is I get in my PJs. They're so comfy. And then I come downstairs, have dinner. I watch Netflix or Stan for probably till about 7:30. And then when I go upstairs, I have a shower, jump in bed, and then I do meditation probably for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I fall asleep after that. But that's my routine, and it keeps me comfortable, keeps me stable. Now, that's just my general routine. Now, I do go to the gym 3 days a week. I think it's really important, even if it's just for half an hour. I go to the gym, and then I sit on the mat and I do I guess you could say self-affirmation. What is wrong with my language today? Self-affirmations. So I sit down, I listen to self-affirmations on YouTube, and then I repeat it out loud. And then the same thing, go home, have a shower, and get ready for work. Now, on the weekends, so Sunday for me is my only day off during the weekend, because I work Saturdays, which is fine, but it's not for everyone. So for Sundays, that is my day. That's my day to do whatever I want. If I want to catch up with friends, catch up with friends. If I want to just stay at home all day, which there is nothing wrong with that, I stay at home all day, watch Netflix. If I want to, sorry, I'm just getting over a cold. If I want to, go and do some photography, I'll go and do that. But having a day that is your day, that's really important. If you're in a relationship, then it's also really good to make sure that you do have your own personal space and that you're not, on top of each other. So coming from, I've been in many relationships, And I always find that it's really important to make sure that you do have that personal space, because you still need your identity, right? Now, my third tip for you is it third or fourth? Whichever one it is to make sure that you do have that relationship with your family or with your friends. Now, I know that every family is different. I know that every group of friendships is different, but we all have that one, at least one person in our life that we can either see as a mother, father figure, or a sister or a brother or a best mate. We all have at least one figure in our life. And it is really important to make sure that you do connect with them and that you do branch out, especially when you're not feeling okay, like if you're feeling sad, frustrated, angry. And look, I am notorious in the past that I used to bottle everything up. And, you know, I'm to a certain extent, I guess you could say to a certain extent, I still do that now, but not as extreme as what I was. So basically, I left a long-term relationship. I cancelled a wedding, and after that whole thing happened. I don't have any family here in Brisbane, but because I'm super ridiculously independent and stubborn, I decided that I'm going to live on my own and just write it out and, you know, really just focus on myself. So I got a little unit to myself. It was just me, and I got a cat. His name is Mr. Whiskers. And, you know, it was good. It was good to be on my own and to be in my own skin and do what I want to do. But at the same time, I completely alienated myself from my family and friends. And of course, I still caught up with them. I still saw them. But because I had this idea in my head that I had to write it out and that I was independent, I bottled up all the emotions that I was feeling to the point where I kind of didn't feel them anymore. And that's when I had what I want to call my January spiritual awakening, which is actually, you know, my breakdown. But enough of that. So like I said, really, really, really important to make sure that you do have those relationships in your life and make sure that you do branch out and speak to them and see them. Because, you know, we live in our own world and our own skin 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your whole life. So being around people that you love and that you trust, it's really important. You know, it's kind of gives you that sense that you're not alone, and that even when things seem really hard and really dark, taking the step to be vulnerable and open up to people, and especially the people that you love, about how you're feeling and what you're going through, because it's good to know that they're there to help you. And look, even if you don't want that help, which I understand, you know, like I said, I'm stubborn, I'm ridiculously independent, but there's different types of helping. And for me, getting the help that I need is having people listen to me and then getting their feedback. That is my version of helping. Other people, it could be different. It could be, you know, if you're in a bit of a bad place at the moment, maybe it could be staying at your friend's house for a couple of nights. Maybe it could be branching out to your parents for support. Whichever it may be, it is really important to make sure that you do have that time there. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, you need to be there every single time you have an issue, but when things get dark and scary, branch out, because that's what they're there for. You know, we're wired for human connection. And if we don't have that, then we can't boss up. Okay, so that's all for today. But look, if you have anything that you use in your life that, you know, you use for your identity, or to stay healthy, to stay emotionally and mentally well, and to boss up in life, then please share it with us down below. Because like I said, what I use for myself may not work for others. But that's the whole point, is to inspire and to share ideas. So if you have anything that you use, write down, comment down below, because it can really help someone as well. Now, I just want to remind everyone that I am still having my 30-minute free coaching call. So I know that stepping outside your comfort zone is scary. And look, I was never one to open up to someone, especially someone that I didn't know, about telling my issues or to trying to get advice from. You know, I would just bottle it up. And I understand that, and that's completely fine. But there comes to a point where sometimes the only path for you to take is a path where you have to step outside your comfort zone. And look, I'm not a scary person. I've been in different situations. I've experienced different things, and I also have had the experience to help and to guide you. And like I said, I'm an empowerment coach. This is what I do. So if you do feel like that you would like to connect or you would like to get some tools, then please comment below leading with kindness and love, and I will send you a link where we can connect. We can set up a date and time. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, because that's what the internet's for. You know, I can send you a Zoom link and we can do everything over the internet. But I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a fantastic week. I hope you're looking after yourselves, and I look forward to talking to you soon. So see you guys. Bye.